Hey guys, Jeff here with CloudSpokes. Since we've wrapped up a lot of our database.com challenges to build out the back end of CloudSpokes, just kind of want to give you an idea of what that looks like and how the process works for actually scoring challenges. A lot of people ask, how does a challenge scoring process work? Since it is integral to the site and how we operate here, I wanted to give you a little insight on that process. So here's a challenge, and from a high-level overview, what happens is, there's a start date for a challenge when it begins displaying on the site and an end date when all the submissions have to be in by. So once that end date arrives, what's going to happen is the status is going to flip from created to reviewed, and it's going to create scorecards for each one of the participants for each judge. And so each judge is going to go ahead and score each participant's code. So once every judge has scored a participant, it's going to total up the score for that participant. And then once all the judges have scored every participant, it's going to calculate all the scores for that entire challenge and then declare a winner. Okay, so we're going to walk through that process real quickly. Now that process typically will take place on the website, on the Rails app, but we haven't built that out yet, so we'll have a series of challenges to build the interface out to actually do the scoring, but all the logic actually resides in database.com, so we'll walk through that real quick. So this is our sandbox org, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this real quick here. So now let's say that the end date's passed, and we're going to flip this manually to review. Typically, like I said, it'd be workflow, and it's going to go ahead and create a bunch of scorecards for us. So if we come down here, you can see that there are 3 registered members, 2 submissions, and here's the prize money. Here's all our participants. You can see their statuses and if they have a submission or not. There's 2 judges, the actual code that the people have submitted for the challenge, and what the prize is. So now if I'm a judge, I would come in here and I would say I'm going to score this submission right here. I can download their code, take a look at it, run it, whatever I need to do, and then you can see there's a submission, there's 2 reviewers, and there's 0 scorecards complete, and there's no score. So I'm going to go ahead and score this person's submission, and let's say give this guy a pretty good ranking here. Now the scorecard that we see is based on the one that was chosen when the challenge was created. Each challenge can have a different scorecard based on what we're looking for. It could be creative, it could be innovation, it could be a Force.com specific challenge, it could be a challenge specific to Cloud Foundry, whatever. So it's based on which challenge scorecard type we actually choose when we create the challenge. And I'm going to go ahead and just save this and not submit it. And I'll kind of show you here how this works. So now I've saved it, and I'll go back to the submission, and you can see that I've scored this one right here, and I gave them a total score of 13. So like I said, you can also review this or actually score this submission through the web UI, and there's actually a REST API that we can use to score it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that works real quick here. We don't have the front end built out yet, but we can still score this. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this answer right here, and I want to score this answer. So you can see we can actually score each answer individually, or we can score an entire scorecard by just passing over an XML payload. So I'm going to show you how we do this with the REST API. So you see that I have an answer of 3 here. I'm going to jump over to the console for Apogee, and I'm going to score this answer, and I'm going to give it a score of, let's say, 4. What was it before? Before it was a 3. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this, and it says all records updated successfully. Now if I go back and I review, it's going to change from 3 to 4. So we can just score it through the back end here in database.com or through the front end Rails app. So now let's go back to this guy's submission. You can see we changed the total raw score, and now there's let's go back in here and actually finish this scorecard, and I'm going to go ahead and save and submit this, and now you can see that there is one completed scorecard, and you can see the final score for this. So now let me go back to the challenge and grade this other person. So here's this participant right here. I'm going to grade this scorecard. Let's give this guy a low score, and I'll score that. And now since I'm logged into myself and I've scored both of these, I'm going to log in as the other judge and score the other 2, so that way we can kick off the entire process here. Alright, so I'm going to go back to this challenge, and now I can see that I've got 1 scorecard complete. So let me go ahead as the judge, I would go ahead and score this one. So we'll give this guy a good score again. And we'll score that. And now since both judges have scored this person, you can see there's 2 reviewers, 2 scorecards complete. It's going to go ahead and score this person right here. You see it changed to 94. And so this guy's all completely scored. Let me go back to the challenge and score the other guy. So here's this submission. You can see there's a score of 0, 2 reviewers, 1 scorecard complete. I'm going to go ahead and score this guy. And now that what's going to happen is now since this person, we've scored this person and he's the last participant to be scored, so now all judges have scored all scorecards. I scored all participants. You'll see this guy's at 31. So now what that does, once every judge has scored every single participant, it's going to go ahead and kick off the scoring engine that scores the entire challenge and declares a winner. So now if I go back to the challenge here, you'll see the stats is now winner selected. I can scroll down to participants and I can see that this person right here won with a score of 94. This person, even though we did have a second place prize money, did not meet the 75% threshold, so they're not actually going to be eligible for second place. So the scoring engine looks at your score and how many places are available and all the scorecards that were submitted, and it calculates who's the winner based on that weighted scorecard. So that's a quick overview of how the scoring engine works in database.com.